here we are, back again in this corner area of Fairview scene. I'm not going to talk really much about this because that's pretty much, I don't want to say done. I need trees and everything. I came back and had some more bushes and a little bit more paraphernalia just for fun, but won't go into detail on that. What I'm going to do now is work on the little bit of the area over here and this area up, including this little retention catch basin, whatever you want to call it, to get that done, because I don't want to be reaching over the building. So I want to get that done so I can put this building in place and then get the scene along and finish it with details as time goes by. You don't have to have every detail done right away. So what I'm thinking of is over here, it's a little interesting because, it used to be double track. So I took the track out and it's like, well, now what do you do? Because if it was originally single track, it probably wouldn't look like this. Probably wouldn't have the space. But okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I think. I'm not sure yet. The problem is I never really was alive in the 1950s. So a lot of the actual railroading environment, I just don't know because I wasn't around. So anyway, so I'm probably going to put a little bit of some grass in here, and I may put like a couple maintenance structures along in here. Would they be like that? But I don't know. But I have this little retaining wall, so that's why that was built, to put those structures there. That could be a little track car building, just some kind of maintenance shed. And now, of course, at least in my mind, the people have to be able to get to these. Now, I guess in certain remote locations back at the time, they might have hopped on at an interlocking or a town and ridden the rails to get to these facilities. I really don't know. But what I'm thinking of doing, now this is a mess, I understand that, but if I put that bridge in here, maybe I can bring like a little access road down, and that's the reason there's some room here, and they get back into this little maintenance area. And then, of course, there's some rails, some tie plates, some, ties laying around, just some various paraphernalia. So that might make sense a little bit. And to do this, what I'm thinking, I want to try, pardon my pan here, this is one of the Martin Wellberg mats available at Scenic Express. At least I think they still are. I know some of them are because I looked. I'm not sure. Oh my gosh, you can't even read that. Let me see if I can make this. Bear with me while I go dark on the f-stop just to see if this is legible. Ah, man. This is crazy. How am I going to get to read that? Is that even legible? I can't tell. But this is a Type C Wild Verge. WB-M024 is the item number. Wild Verge Type C. It looked good to me. Again, I'm not sure if that exact one is still available, but several others are. I like this one. It looks kind of good. It's got some bare areas in it, so I'm probably going to cut it out. This is interesting in that this material, this mat, is actually on a little bit of a base. Probably can see a little bit of glare from the lights. So it's a little bit different than the other mats. So you have to have the type of surface that you can get that on. Now I'm going to go into a flat area. That's why I want to try this one. And when I get the other mats out by MBR, I'll show you the difference. They seem to be able to conform a little bit better to a little bit more undulating terrain. So I'm going to take this one, probably cut out a strip of it where it's got some of the bare spots, and then try that, on the back sides from here back. And then add some other stuff, some dirt, and then this will all be kind of gravel or cinders or battle, where they kind of come in, then a dirt road coming in for access. So that's the plan right now. So let me see if I can get this Wellberg mat cut, placed, and blended in, and then I'll kind of show what my thoughts are for back along here, getting down to eventually where the water, it's not going to be a pond, but where some standing water will be. So, all right, we'll get to that in a moment. Okay, so I cut that mat, and then I just took it and used some of my good old Beacon 3-in-1 glue. That's great stuff. I use it for almost all the scenery, for tufts and shrubs and planting trees and the filigrane busha and everything. It's good stuff. It's available at Walmart, so it's relatively inexpensive and easy to get, and a really good product. So I just put it around the edge, and I just set that in there and kind of use the blunt end of a brush to kind of keep things in. A little piece that was kind of cut out of this here, I cut it in half and stuck it there. So now I know it looks kind of strange, but now what I think I'll do, and I have these just sitting here kind of for reference, because this will all be the gravelly area, so I'm going to come back now and kind of put some of the gravel in, maybe bring the ballast of the track out to here or so, and see if I can blend it. This looks a little hokey back along here. I need to do something here. I might use some of the similar mats over here to kind of keep it, blended nicely. A similar look to it, and this is going to have, of course, eventually it'll have some trees along it as well. So let's go back and see if we can make that. I like it. It looks kind of good. Again, it's kind of hard to tell now because it looks kind of weird, but let's move ahead and then see what we can do. Okay, here we are. Got some. I got the ballast out here, and I got some other stuff sprinkled in just to kind of blend that piece of mat in. And it's not done yet. This is going to be the kind of the first attempt, and we'll come back and do some other stuff to it as well. And then of course we'll lay some track and other things, laying back in here. And I did mention that Scenic Express, and I had said maybe in one of the previous videos that this ballast is color fast, but it's not. Look at it. You can see it does darken a little bit, which I think they said it doesn't. Well, that's not true, but that's okay. I still like the look of this. This is after it's been set. I use diluted Mod Podge, of course, after some wet water on there, so you can see that it does lighten a little bit, but I still like it. I'm not dissatisfied at all, but you don't get the exact color once it sets up, but which is fine. All right, anyway, so we're going to go ahead and get this stuff secured for now, and I stopped here because I'm not exactly sure if I'm even going to use that. Although it might look pretty cool. I have to elevate it a little bit, get some rails going into the. Anyway, we'll see about that. So that's what it's looking like now. And then, of course, there's still a lot to do along the edge here. You can see back along here. Still some stuff up in here, but let me get this stuff set up so I can move on to other areas of work. What in the world am I doing? So what I decided to do here, I'm trying this. I don't know how this is going to turn out. I've never done this way before underneath water. So what I'm going to try is I took some of the Vallejo earth texture. It's a brown earth, a little bit light, so I mixed it with some other colors. The cool stuff about this is it does give a nice texture, and you can mix it with acrylic paints. So, paint slowly over here. I took some of these various colors, an olive drab, German camouflage medium brown, a dark mud, and a camouflaged olive green. Again, just some, brown, muddy, greeny type colors. And then where I think the water is going to be deeper, down in here, I made it a little bit darker here. And what I'm doing here, I saw a real cool video from Vallejo. Get the shadow out of the way here. And they actually had it was like a 1/32 scale diorama or something like that, but they had a pipe, and they had some water, and then they had like a little bit of water, effluent coming out. I think that looked pretty cool, so I'm going to try it. I actually have their still water product. They set it on some glass, let it dry. You make a piece, you bring it down, then you add some. Anyway, we'll see how it looks. So I added this little pipe coming out of the ground here, like it's running from, I don't know, somewhere. Excuse me. And then we'll have a little bit coming out there because this area is a little bit deeper. It's a little bit higher, so it's just a touch more green where I think it's going to be out of the water. Back in here, I think there's going to be some water sitting in there. And by water, I'm going to pour it and just going to let it go where it goes. I think it'll be over here. Took a gamble, added some rocks into it just to start off. There'll be more. Still have to do along the edge and stuff like that. But I wanted to get this in, use the actual texture as kind of an adhesive to hold these larger rocks in. And then I'll go back and do the edge and whatnot. And then have the mats come down with the associated shrubbery and greenery that's coming down to this area. So I also diluted it with some water. I did a little bit of washes here on the culverts and even on the rocks and stuff like that. So, all right, so we're going to try that. Just got to set up for probably till tomorrow now. So I got all that setting up. I put some here as well because it'll be a little bit of water here. Then the rest of it will be all shrubbed in and whatnot. So hopefully this will work okay. We'll find out. I'm going to use the magic water that I have. If I can fix it, it looks like the one epoxy crystallized, but they say you can either put it in boiling water or put it in a microwave, so we'll try it. If not, I'll be delayed. I'll be buying some more stuff. So, let this set up. We'll continue on and come back when we make some more progress. Oh, wait, before that, belay that last transition. I also did some work over here. Again, similar, where I think the water is actually going to kind of be sitting because it's lower. Made it just slightly darker. And where it's higher, with only some sporadic water, and it'll be kind of leaved it's a little bit more green. And then there'll be, brushes and shrubs and fallen leaves and, all kinds of stuff in there as well. So, okay, so now, transition to the next segment, please. Thank you. Okie dokie, well, I think I'm ready to try the water. At least what'll be in here. What I did do, you can see I went back, added some more stones and some, debris. Just figured things would kind of wash. Just to add some variety, to have something interesting, I guess, to look at down there. Did some more back along here. A little bit down on there. And then I figured if it flowed, it probably would tend to accumulate down on there. So I did a little bit there. So just some, just some rocks and gravel and debris and whatnot to kind of have underneath the water. Now this whole thing's not going to be water the way it's looking. And if I look at it, let me get my little pointer here. What I think is going to happen is it looks like there'll be water back in here. Over to here, and then there might even be some like around in here. I'm just looking kind of the way that it's laying. So I don't want it to be a pond. It's like I said, it's meant to be kind of a catch basin or whatever you would call it. And then there'll be some in here, and I might even have, like I said, might have the running coming out of that pipe. So it might be filled here. A little bit of a hump there, so it's probably going to be here. Hump. And then down in here. Again, this is going to be a slow little, it's not going to be huge amount. And then as it would fill, it would just kind of flow down this, because it is definitely sloped this way. Not that I'm a civil engineer, I just got lucky. Added a little bit, again, out here. Get to some stones and gravel. Let's have a little bit of standing water in it down there. And try to do this slowly. I need to remember not to go too fast. Then over here, similar. Some in here, this might be really low. Probably some water laying in here. And nice shadow from the camera. And then a little bit in there as well. So, here's what I did back here. I don't know if I like it yet. I just don't know if those higher, reedy type things make sense. I was just kind of playing around, thinking, let me try some stuff. And I did then kind of fill in this part of the embankment, went back in with some of the filigrane busha. So I don't know if I like that. They could always be pulled out if I wanted to, so we'll see. Alright, so might be time to attempt a little water here and see how things look. Okay, let's, hey, nothing ventured, nothing gained, right? Okay, here's the first, well, actually only attempt at the water, because I'm not going to do it again. Got it in, I did tint it, and again, it is kind of a real dark, murky water, because it's not, again, not meant to be a stream, so it's just kind of in there, and I added, the rocks and other paraphernalia. It's still kind of setting up. It's been a little bit humid, so I might need to let it set for a little while before I do too much more to it. I'm going to try to add a little bit of effluent coming out of that. And then it's settled down here. And then, I don't know why, I added a little manhole, like to access that culvert. I don't know if it would be there or not. And then the outside here. So that's not bad. I think it looks alright. Yeah, still needs to do a little bit of setup, so I need to be careful with it. But it's got that nice dark murky look that I was kind of after. I think I used a little bit too much and it wasn't quite level. It's a little bit too far back in there. But what I might do is just add a little bit of using some water effects or some Mod Podge. Make it look like it's kind of flowing out there a little bit, just to give it a little bit of life. And over on this side, again, it's not really flowing too much here. Oh, my darn shadow again. See, it's actually, I mean, it's wet down there, but it's really kind of low. And then it's sitting down in here, which is the way it was. It actually kind of leveled itself out, so it's kind of sitting down there, and it's a little bit wet and dry, a little bit wetter, wet and dry, a little bit wetter up that way. So it's not a real active flow from this side. And just kind of sitting over there, and I might try to add some Mod Podge when it dries up a little bit more. So now, since it's got to sit for a little bit, I'm probably going to carefully come back and work on some of the foliage back along there. So let's break out the mats and see what we can come up with. Okay, here we go. Here's a big I've been a little bit remiss in doing my in progress stuff. Just been really busy with work and some other videos I've been working on another layout tour video and doing some work on this building itself. So I've been a little bit, like I said, remiss in doing kind of the in progress stuff. But here it is, and I need to get this up and posted only because I have to travel again the entire upcoming week, another trip down to Philadelphia. So I want to get this up just to, I don't know, it's been a while. I'm not sure when the last one I posted is. Again, I've been kind of out of YouTube for a little bit. But this is the scene. I'm not calling it done. It's probably about, I don't know, 90%. I want to come back in, add some more details, but I got it to the point, you know, again, where now I can kind of say, all right, I can go work on other areas, knowing that I want to come back and then touch up stuff here. So what I did, again, I spent a lot of time on the building. I completely repainted the roof, you know, weathered it. I added other details. I added some non-working lights over the doors, although this one does work. That's a small light from Microlumina. I think it's actually pretty darn close to scale, but man, I'll tell you what, the wires are small, and it's one of those, you know, be careful what you wish for, because yeah, it's scale, but yeah, it's a pain to work with because the wires are so small. Anyway, redid all the different roofs, got all the annex buildings attached, added a little drop for power. Like I said, mostly some weathering. I did add this little shed that I had in my workbench. It's going to look kind of neat sitting there. You might not be able to see, but I added a valve on it. There's a little valve of some variety coming into the building. I added something here just for fun. Again, another valve that I had. I added the Avonia supply on the side there. Those are Woodland Scenics dry transfers. They worked out fairly nice. So that's individual letters. So yeah, that was kind of tedious. But okay, it was fun. Like I said, redid the roof. I'm not sure how well that's showing up on the video. And then over here, I didn't do a whole lot, other than, you know, weathering the roofs and whatnot. Threw a couple details down in there on the porch, some automobiles. Actually, it's an interesting story on these. I'll get to that in a minute. So this is this side, and then the scenery itself, I have gone back and started to add in, you know, various foliage. There's some horsetail foliage down in there. Still need some more work. Some bigger shrubs, bushes, just kind of all kinds of paraphernalia. I added some of the Hecky, what do they call that? I'm looking right here at it, leaf foliage, just to kind of blend it in where it came in to the gravel lot. Some more bushes and stuff like that, and I don't know if I showed that, but that's that little back scene that I have along in there. There's just some stuff growing up, some dried mud over there, so that's that. I don't really know that I don't, for some reason I struggle with gravel. I don't know that I really like the way that looks. I'm going to have to come back and do some stuff to it. I did add some, not crossings, but access. I figured, you know, this is kind of a road that runs along the side to the back side where they can do some other work. And that if they ever, these are, the rail door is going to be mostly this one. At this end here, it's a bigger door. So I figured that's the spot for a rail car. In here, they could back trucks up and load and unload into that little, whatever that little dumper is there. So I said, well, if they're going to go across the tracks, they need some way to do it. So I did that. Threw gravel in here, and then very carefully cleaned the flangeways out. Seems to work fine. I'm not totally sold on how I did this. I wanted to put static grass in here in the rails. The first time I did it, I did 4mm, way too high. So I vacuumed it all back out and made a mess. Came back in with some 2mm. I still don't really like the way it looks. I mean, I think it looks okay for now. But I may come back and do some remedial work on that. But I like the look. And one of my fellow modelers did a real nice job of that. And I just struggle with it. I mean, some things, the sceneries I do okay with. Static grass, for some reason, I struggle with. And modeling gravel. You know, gravel lots and rolls I struggle with. So I might need to, on my upcoming trip, bounce into YouTube and look at some videos for that kind of stuff. So anyway, so that's one of the portable sheds. I originally thought about putting it here, but I kind of like the way this looked, you know, with the gunk running down, and I like that little shed there. So I put the little outbuilding, office or whatever it might be, over here. Some kind of tank thing there in the field. This is actually a New York, Ontario, and Western little tool shed. I thought it looked kind of good there. I weathered it up to darken it a little bit. Just kind of set it in there. And then back in here, there's some more bushes and shrubbery. I still need some more. Probably down in here, you know, kind of where the water would definitely sit. Things will probably grow a lot more there. But that's the scene with some Filigon busha, MBR high bushes, MBR low bushes. There's all kinds of stuff that's kind of thrown in there. Some MP scenery cattails stuck in there. And then also over here, you'll see some cattails in there, and the water's kind of muddy and stuff's falling in it, but that's okay. There's leaves floating in the water. I'm okay with that. I didn't want to cover up. It's hard to see down through there where the pipe comes out and where the effluent is actually coming out. Again, I don't know that that's actually even going to show up. I'll try to, I don't even think it's going to focus. I'll try if I can get this camera to do it. Maybe not. Maybe if I stick this in there, will you focus on that? Okay. So I don't know if you can see that kind of pouring out there, and it's kind of shaky because I'm at maximum zoom here. But anyway, I did it. I know it's there. So that was fun. Okay. So that's that scene, and I'm going to kind of say, okay, like I said, 90%, good to go. I do have, this light works. There's a light underneath here, so there are some lights, and there's a light inside here. I figure if it's nighttime and they're working, everyone else might be kind of gone, but they're loading the car. So there's an LED light in here for the loading bay. That works, and there's a light under this. Let me move the X29 out of the way. And there's a light here for that loading dock. And just for fun, this customer specifies that they like to get these lower height. I don't know if the X29s are what, 9'6" or something like that. They like the lower height box cars because of the clearance here. You can get a normal 40-footer in there, but they specify if you're going to unload over here, they want the shorter height box cars. Just some to add for operational considerations when we get to it. I may want to come back and try some static grass in these areas. Look kind of bland to me, but again, I need to work on that. I do have the knock Grassmaster, whatever it is, with the funnel. So maybe if I Try to work on this little area here. It'll work better than before, and I won't screw it up like I did on the tracks. So that's that. I'm going to wrap this up. Because I am traveling, I do have to get the layout ready. Actually going to be part of an NMRA open house tour, layout tour coming up in, I don't know, the second weekend of November. So I need to get the layout in a little more presentable shape to have folks come over and take a look at it. A couple things I'm thinking of doing up here in Fairview is adding the tower and this little work shed. These are actually kind of as a information update. If you've seen my Shorty Parker video, Shorty has decided to actually take down his layout. Very unfortunate, but he felt personally that the time was right. So he sent a note out to all his friends. He is part of the NMRA here in Northwest PA. We're all in Division 12. And he sent a note out and basically saying, if you want stuff, come on over. He was selling his stuff off, and I got a lot of stuff from him. A lot of good stuff from Shorty. In fact, a lot of the details in here. Let's see. That truck, the cars on the front side, those piles of ties. I got all kinds of, stuff from him. And I told him, I said, Shorty, I'll buy stuff from you, but I'm only going to buy stuff that I can actually use on my layout. I'm not going to get stuff to put in a box on a shelf or try to resell it or something like that. I want stuff from your layout that I can actually use. So these are two. This is one of his towers. Work shed. I got a lot of little work sheds. And just for fun on this one here, this probably won't show up at all, but I figure these guys are out there working in the field. And what that is, pinup calendar? Yeah. It's actually an August 1957 pinup calendar. I figured the guys slapped it up on inside. Since Shorty had the door open, I decided to put a calendar on the door just for fun. So that's an actual 1957 pinup calendar. Of course, you can't read the dates, and I can't prove that to you, but that's what it is. So for the tower, again, I like that. I have a base here. I did some work on, I repainted the roof. The roof is removable, and this may not all show up very well, but he had a grain of wheat bulb in here. I took it out, put an LED. I added this light. That's another one of those microlumina little guys there. You can see the little tiny wires. So they're all run down, hooked up to go. I added some details on the inside to the desk, paper, phone. There's a clock on the wall. There's a PRR calendar there. I added a storage locker over here. Just some other details since it's so close to the front, and you'll be able to see into it. So this is going to go here. I am working on a downspout for here to come down. I got Pennsylvania Railroad type Fairview signs coming. I'll probably put one here, maybe one up here. I've seen that. I'm looking at, since I was never around when most towers were actually in operation, trying to do some prototypical research in some of the Pennsy Railroad facility books, just to see towers and the details on them and how they look. Maybe add a horn in the front, or just some other stuff that I'll get to. Probably leave the roof removable so you can pop inside and take a look. So that's going to be there. Oh, that's one of Shorty's Pennsylvania Railroad vehicles as well. So, all right, more to come. Like I said, I'm going to be gone for a week, but I want to get this up. This is pretty much what I've been working on. And besides going to Shorty's and getting some of his stuff. But pretty much the building and this scene here. So I really need to get, what I really got to focus on is getting some darn trees. So this looks okay, but I really want trees. And, for example, I was playing around. Here's this is an armature that I made up just to try it. And, something like, I think it would look kind of, this might not be working too well. But, and I can't really, trust me, I think that, you need trees. And this tree, it might look big. It really isn't that big a tree. It's maybe 70 feet, something like that. Okay, but it's really not that big a tree. But, I want to get some trees. I don't want to block all of that because I want people to be able to see it and enjoy it. But, tree here, maybe a tree over here in this corner, and then, of course, a lot back in there. And I tend to not like I shouldn't say this, but I think for what I want to do, my vision for the layout is I'm going to have to make a lot of trees by hand, which is going to take a lot of time. But, you know, some of the, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not going to say anymore. I don't want to get nasty comments. But to me, a lot of the trees that you see on layouts don't look all that great. And I just want mine to look better. I understand it's going to take a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of effort, but I'm willing to do that in this particular case, because a lot of the trees, like I said, just don't look like trees. You know, the super trees are fine in certain cases, and yeah, you can use woodland scenic trees, but to me, none of that stuff looks really, really, really realistic. And I want to try to model better looking trees. We'll see. I might get sick of it, just give up. But I can guarantee you this, I will never put a puffball on this layout, ever. To me, that's the biggest abomination ever, are puffball trees. I'm not trying to insult people, but that is just, I do not like the way puffball trees look. And anyway, I don't want to come on that tangent. All right, more to come. I'm going to be gone at least a week. And I got to get back and try to get the layout ready for the open house. So don't know how to do a whole lot more progress other than cleaning the track and cleaning the darn layout room, which is a mess. I mean, look at this. I got scenery stuff laying all over here. Yeah, so there's my workbench right over here, just laying right on the track, and all the paraphernalia there. And oh, I got more stuff over here. Ballast and stuff, and leaves, and all kinds of dirts, and some more hecky mats and grasses, and ugh. All right, anyway. Oh, I got more over here too. See? This is so just for the fun of it, so you can see what a mess I have over here. So there's Fairview. So yeah, I'm going to have a building here, I have a building there once I get all this stuff out of here. But anyway, all right, enough babbling. There's the scene. That's where I got to. So I'll be back in, I don't know, a couple weeks, something like that, once I get back and get things cleaned up and start working some more. So, all right, everybody take care. I'll be back when I can.